What up, y'all? Welcome y'all to Humble City Real, the show where I talk about things I like, things I don't like, things I know, things I think I know, and whatever else that happens across my mind. Um, you already know that I would like for you all to subscribe if you like the content, of course. Leave comments on whatever the subject I'm talking about. Like if you don't like. But that being said, first I want to say. R.I.P. Rest up, young man, Daunte Wright. Prayers with his mother and father, his child, rest of his family. Also, my thoughts, prayers go out to the city, and their residents as they deal with this seems to be continuous madness that surrounds them and the officers of Minnesota. I really don't know which way to go when, the question is always asked, what do we do? What's the next move? How do we get past this? It's seeming more and more you're having a lot of pissed off cops out here that just are fed up with just any and everything to the point where it's, a traffic ticket or speeding or anything just leads them to the point where they want to, full on throw you under the jail or to the cemetery. It's to say that it's out of control or it's crazy. It's kind of worthless. This seems to me more so as part of the plan. This is what it is. A lot of people would speak about the system being broken and things of that nature, but looks like it works pretty fine. For those who have put it in place. I just, one of the main things I want, in this video is to more so just say, kind of, starting off with the attention, I do want to speak on this as far as just my point of view, and I want to bring attention as well, and just understand that, what's going on in Minnesota right now, the rioting, the protests, that comes with the territory. Racial injustice, leads to people showing, a certain sense of resistance, stress, intolerable situations. We can't take this no more. Comes with it. Sadly, this is, tradition. It's what we do. It's what they do. Over-aggressive police kill. We protest. And, we kind of move on. Sadly, depending on how close it is to your family, and even if it is close to your family, you still have that part of you. I am, a relative. I had a cousin who was, unjustly killed by a police officer as well. And, and we still, fight for him to this day, regardless of the time that has passed. Continue. His mother is leading the charge in any given moment, protesting, proper policing and stuff, that nature. Then, you have reform, police reform. That's one of the things out there, and defunding the police and things of that nature. Where do we go with this, though? We've been, a few of us have already, have had conversations amongst each other and things over time, and saying what we would, how we would, want our children to move and I have to still say that I have nothing else I can tell my kids or my nephews and nieces to do, or little cousins and whatnot. I don't have the next move for them to do. I can only go back to, do your best to comply. Call a responsible adult. Call your mama. Call your daddy. Let them know that you pulled it over. And it's, especially when you're young, and are already perceived as a threat. They take a lot of things that we have in our, culture and apply it to us as that is the end all be all of what are definitely our young people, but us as a whole, that is what they are, and in turn just automatically delegate us as a threat. But I don't want to tell my kids anything else to do right now, because I truly don't have the answer. I have, emotional suggestions. We all do. We really got to figure something out. The attention is brought to it already. We've been there. The awareness. We all know about this stuff. It's been going on. Everywhere, we had from the situation with, the officer, the military officer, the Army officer, Virginia, just ridiculous, just super aggressive officer. Just, we had that situation. Yeah, he's fired. We're going to get back to that part right there. We have just a few other different situations, that where it's to a point where you wonder, like, man, what's really going on in these officers' lives? Like, we need some different type of probe, and psychological probe, to really figure out, what's going on with these guys. You got to think, in a sense, in a profession like that, you kind of have to have a certain sense of, do I want to say, craziness about you. The way the training that they go through, the professional training they go through, it puts you in a space to where when it comes down to it, when it's definitely needed, is when you're supposed to be able to draw that. But what happens if they got that already in them? They don't need a situation. It's just there. I'm ready. Any given time, I don't need it to build up to anything or nothing. I'm ready to do. I'm ready to pull. Ready. And we've known this for a while. We've done all the marching, the protesting, bringing attention. We've been aware of this. We've been aware. It's already been there. We know this, and it's the same old song. Sadly, same old song. It's not just Minnesota. I mean, I'm speaking Minnesota because, of course, you have currently, right here recently, the former police officer, Kim Potter, who just murdered Daunte Wright, 20-year-old father, who then went on ahead and resigned in hopes to keep her pension. So far, she's keeping her pension. How that goes, I don't know. We'll see how that goes when they go to trial eventually. I've heard on the radio people talk about different things about the pension and what they should do or she shouldn't get her pension. I don't care about that. That's not bringing that boy back. Hell, some people may suggest that the pension go to his son. It's like, yeah, it could help, it would help, but essentially he's set in a place to grow up without his dad. So, a couple of $100,000 on my dad. You know what I'm saying? It's not a hard choice. shouldn't be a hard choice, even for those who I don't know my daddy and this and the third. If you had the choice of having your dad in your life or a couple of $100,000, you would choose your dad in your life. Then of course, currently have the trial of Derek Chauvin, but as it's moving, it's a lot of George Floyd talk. Not too much about Derek Chauvin's history. I'll come back to that. It's all circled together. And then you had 4 years ago, a Minnesota police officer, Minneapolis, Minnesota, by the name of Mohammed Noor. Mohammed Noor, him and his partner responded to a 911 call made by a young lady by the name of Justine Rushcheck. She called 911 reporting she believed she was witnessing sexual assault occurred in the alley, I believe behind her residence. Mohammed Noor and his partner responded. Needless to say, I believe she came out to try to acknowledge that she was the one that called. Mohammed Noor said that he looked at his partner's face, and as they were looking at her coming, I guess, across the area, he looked and thought his partner looked afraid. He got afraid. He positioned himself on the side of his car, shot a shot, hit her, walked over, realized she didn't have no gun or anything, and realized that he shot an unarmed person unjustifiably. In court, he stated that, he feared for his life, and to which the judge says something to the effect that I fear for my life only applies to certain cops in certain situations, and sometimes good people just do bad things. Sometimes a good person can do a bad thing. Needless to say, Mohammed Noor was sentenced to 12 and a half years for the murder of Justine Rushcheck. I believe I'm saying that name right. I hope I am. All respect to the dead. So that happened. I believe it happened in 2017. He was sentenced in 2019, and then